This video blog is on the topic of spiritual integration and counseling and harmony between at least one ACA 2014 Code of Ethics standard and my personal spiritual beliefs. First, I would like to acknowledge that I have read the Daniel 2020 textbook in its entirety, and I don't mean the book of Daniel in the Bible. Secondly, the ethical standard I will discuss is that of autonomy. In other words, autonomy in the counselor client counseling relationship, according to the preamble of the ACA 2014 Code of Ethics. The ACA 2014 Code of Ethics defines autonomy as the right that each person exercises to make decisions about the direction their life will take. This principle harmonizes with my personal spiritual beliefs because, as Daniel 2020 wrote, God has given us the gift of choice. God knows there are consequences, both good and bad, that follow the choices we make. Yet, He gives us the freedom to decide our own course of action and whether to include Him in our decision making process or not. Daniel 2020 offers some examples of God's gift of free will to mankind. In addition to those, I think of the stories in the Gospels, according to New International Version 2008, where the religious leaders of Christ's time chose to live angry and jealous of Jesus, and the choice Jesus made to die on the cross for them and the world, according to New International Version 2008, Matthew chapter 27, verse 32 through 54. Suffice it to say that God gave us the gift of choice so that choosing to love Him or not comes from a heart's desire to have or not have a relationship with Him and include Him in every aspect of our life. Therefore, as a counselor, I can only challenge clients to consider what is better, but I cannot coerce them to pick what is better. I harmonized the principle of autonomy with my personal beliefs through the years and with much analysis. I still struggle with it, but I will speak to that in a moment. Both the principle of autonomy and my beliefs became congruent when I began to realize that even if a person is forced to do something that seems better, but they were not interested in the option presented, they did it begrudgingly because their heart was not in it, like the biblical principle of giving in the New International Version 2008, 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7. The Bible encourages giving with a happy heart because that is what pleases God, according to Harris 2005. Therefore, if the giving is accompanied by a negative sentiment, then don't give at all. Regarding integrating spirituality and counseling, whether the client initiates the topic of faith or I, as their counselor, initiate it, the key is that the client is willing to process spiritual keys to resolve their issue and depart the session having freely made a choice that meets their need. Excuse me. I noticed that when some of my clients considered a recommendation from me, understanding that they could reject or accept it, they were more willing to act on it than if they felt it was being imposed on them. Daniel 2020 challenged my thinking with the idea of compassion. I never thought that ensuring my client exercised the right to self determination was to show compassion. In my mind, I thought I was showing compassion when I shared ideas I expected them to act on because they were meant to steer them toward a healthier outcome. I still struggle with the principle of autonomy because on occasion I have those Mr. Fix It moments. I feel like the Apostle Paul when he wrote in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9, New International Version 2008, do you not know that the wicked will not inherit the kingdom of God? In other words, don't you realize you are not making the right decision? I am thankful that I have improved, and I look forward to making more progress in extending compassion to my clients as they practice self-determination. An action I will take to reduce and eliminate this conflict is to be mindful of Daniel's 2020 exhortation to approach with compassion each client's autonomy. I must ensure that my tone, body language, the questions or statements I make regarding their issues respect their right to independent decision making. Van Nieuw Amerongen et al. 2020, writing about spiritual psychotherapy in the Netherlands, ties autonomy to liberty and freedom. As I thought about how these terms equated to one another, I pondered the fact that most clients seeking to experience seek counseling. Most clients seek counseling to experience freedom. They seek perspectives on what autonomous decisions they can make to rectify their circumstances as they see fit. Therefore, I must ensure that our counselor client relationship fosters a counseling process that enables and empowers the client towards self determination without the pressures that initiated their seeking counseling.